Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks today. We're talking Friday, December 13th. Happy Friday the 13th, everybody. For those of you who celebrate, the Splash Zone is back in your life with 5 NBA player prop picks for tonight's NBA betting slate. All 5, of course, are plus money bangers because that's how we do things here. To give you guys a recap from yesterday, ended up being a pretty good day. Overall, we were 3-1 on our 4 picks. We lost Ochai Agbaji over 1.5, made 3-pointers. He made 1, did not quite get that second one. But the other 3 cashed. RJ Barrett rebounds plus assists, Cade Cunningham rebounds, and Malik Monk assists. All those cashed, which was very nice. Gave ourselves a good day yesterday, up a little bit over 2 units. On the entire season, that does bring us back into the green because we were in the red prior to that. But up over a unit on the year. Not something that I'm super proud of, but after how brutal the year started, I'm just happy to be in the green. Hopefully we can continue the hot streak that we started yesterday because it had been a pretty brutal run prior to that. And have a great night tonight. So if you're new to my channel, would appreciate it if you could click that subscribe button. And let's get into today's banger. So 1 of 5. Clippers Nuggets, give me Nikola Jokic 10 plus assists, plus 115 odds at FanDuel. I love this play really as a fade of recent results while also backing a pretty juicy matchup against the Clippers. But to talk about that first part, the fading of recent results, Jokic has been scoring like crazy recently. His last 2 games, 56 and 48 points. 2 games prior to that, 38 points. So in 3 of his last 4 games, he scored 38, 56, and 48 points. In the one game that he did not blow up, he still had 27 points. And in that game, he had 11 assists and 20 rebounds, which is just an absurd stat line. His point total over-under for this game is 31.5, which just shows you how much he's been scoring. So with all that scoring going up, it only makes sense that the playmaking has somewhat gone down. He's only hit 10 or more assists in 2 of his last 8 games. But again, that makes sense with his scoring up. And prior to that, he had hit 10 or more assists in 8 of his first 11 games. So that's just kind of the ebbs and flows of an NBA season. He started off the season really well, doing really well from an assisting perspective, a playmaking perspective. Now, recently, it's been a lot of scoring. I think it's going to flip back to playmaking, especially in this matchup against the Clippers, which is a very, very good matchup for center assist props. Really, by any source you look at. One thing that I've been doing more recently is not just looking at one source that gives you this type of information, but look at a couple to try and paint a wider picture. So, looking at the Clippers assist props, according to both props.cash and Fantasy Pros, they allow the 4th most assists per game to centers. Looking at hashtag NBA, which is a stupid name, but a very helpful website, the Clippers allow literally the most assists to centers over the last month. Literally number 1. So 2 websites just give you on the entire year. Hashtag NBA allows you to filter by time frame over the last month, the most assists per game to centers. If you dig into the matchup, it makes sense why centers assist against the Clippers. Clippers allow the 3rd fewest points per game via post-ups and the 5th fewest points per game to pick and roll rollmen. Generally, teams that are at the bottom of the category in terms of center, or in terms of those 2 play types, generally allow more centers to assist against them because those are the top 2 play types for most centers in terms of scoring. So if centers aren't scoring, they're mostly playmaking, especially for a guy like Nikola Jokic, who has a lot of offense run through him. He's played the Clippers twice this year. He went over in one, he went under in the other. And if you match up just his box score, you can almost tell exactly just from his point total which game he went under on assists. The game he scored 41 points, yeah, he did not get to 10 assists. Another game, he only scored 28 points, or I think he scored 27, and he had 11 assists on 17 potential assists in that game. So I'm just expecting his scoring to normalize. I'm not expecting him to average 50 points per game, which is what he's done in his last 2 games. I'm expecting the scoring to normalize and his playmaking to increase, which is why I like this play a lot, backing Jokic. That's play number 1. Play number 2, let's head over to the game that everybody's excited about, the Hornets versus Bulls, probably the best game of the night. We're going to take Vasilije Micic, 8 plus assists, plus 120 odds at FanDuel. If you don't know who this guy is, 8 plus assists might sound crazy for him. I absolutely love this play for 2 reasons. Number 1, the matchup. We've talked about it all year. I should say Micic is the starting point guard for the Hornets. We've talked about it all year. Point guard assist props against the Bulls. Just assist and play. Absolute smash play. No matter what source you look at, similar to the Clippers, but even better, The Bulls are a great matchup for point guard assist props. According to both props.cash and Fantasy Pros, they've allowed the most assists per game to opposing point guards at over 11 per game per each source. And then over the last month, they've allowed the fourth most assists per game to point guards. So yeah, not quite the most, but fourth most, top four is still very good. Per Props Madness, 67% of point guards have hit their assist prop against the Bulls by an average of over 1 assist per prop. That's every single point guard against the Bulls. 67 of them hit their assist prop over, again, by over 1 assist per prop. So it's kind of crazy. Like when you think about it, over under 4.5 hitting 6, over under 9.5 hitting 11. That adds up over the long run by averaging over 1 more assist per their over under. And just look at the last game. I get that's a 1-game sample size, but you see this all year. Tyrese Maxey set a career high for his assists against the Bulls with 14. Sixers backup point guard Jared McCain, whose minutes are down, had 4 assists. His over-under was 1.5. So looking at Micic, the matchup is there, and it's not a crazy number for him either. Like if you don't know the player, 8 assists for him does seem crazy, but this is a play because LaMelo Ball is out for this game, out for the foreseeable future. So Micic has played 6 games this year without Ball. He's hit the over in 3 games. Now, 3 of 6 doesn't sound amazing. 1 game you can wipe out. He only played 18 minutes. He got hurt in that game. You just take that 1 game out. Every other game he played at least 30 minutes. So that's clearly the outlier. So you look at those 6 games. 1 we take out. So that's 3 of 5. 1 of the 2 in which he went under, he had 7 assists. So he would have given us the hook, but he had 17 potential assists in that game. That's the most important number. What are the potential assists? Overall, in the 5 games in which he's played 30 minutes without LaMelo Ball, which is 5 of 6, again, we take out the 1, he's averaging over 15 potential assists per game. We just need him to get between a 50 to 55% conversion ratio, and he's getting us to A+ assists in this matchup. I wouldn't be surprised if he had way more than 15 potential assists, but even if he got that number, I would feel confident that he'd get to the actual 8 number that we need him to. That's play number 2. Let's go with play number 3. Lakers versus Timberwolves. Rudy Gobert, double-double, plus 120 odds at FanDuel. Just an insane price on Rudy Gobert to record a double-double. When you consider both the matchup and the player in Rudy Gobert, he's averaging over 10 points per game and about 11 points per game. So just right off the bat, he's averaging a double-double just looking at his stats. Now, looking at the matchup, it's phenomenal against the Lakers from both a points and a rebounds perspective. Per props.cash, Lakers allowing 2nd most rebounds per game to centers, 3rd most according to Fantasy Pros, and 7th most according to #NBA. Now, Props Madness, one website that I really like, what they do is they group players with similar profiles. So like assist profile, scoring profile, playmaking profile, rebounding profile, whatever. And so as opposed to just looking at the position. 6 of 9 players, that's very nice, 6 of 9, with a similar rebounding profile to Gobert have hit their rebound prop over against the Lakers by an average of 2.5 rebounds over their prop. That's insane. That also includes Rudy Gobert, who has hit his over rebounds in both games against the Lakers with 14 and 12 rebounds. Points are also great from a matchup perspective. Nothing to be scared of. Using the same Props Madness metric, 6 of 7 players with a similar scoring profile to Gobert have hit their point prop over against the Lakers by an average of about 1.8 points per game. Now, for whatever reason, players with a similar rebounding profile don't always have the same scoring profile, so that's why the numbers are different. But it makes sense why centers like Gobert have success against the Lakers. There's only one way in which Gobert scores where the Lakers are not a good matchup. It's getting to the free throw line. Every other metric, they're a great matchup. Lakers give up the 8th most points per game via putbacks, the 4th most points per possession to pick and roll rollmen, and the 6th most points per game via transition. That's like over 50% of how Gobert scores. And then the one play type where actually Gobert scores the most of his points, number 1, is off of cuts. Now, NBA.com doesn't give us defensive data against cuts, so I don't know this for sure. But if you're just kind of deducing some logic here, I don't even think that's a right phrase, but you know what I mean. If 6 of 7 players with a similar scoring profile to Gobert have hit their point prop, we can guess that the Lakers are at least below average guarding cuts because it's a number 1 category in which Gobert scores. And you want to look at the matchup? Gobert hit his point prop over 13 and 17 points in 2 games against the Lakers this year. That means he's recorded a double-double in both games against the Lakers this year. He's actually done it in 10 of his last 11 games against the Lakers. That dates back to like 2022. If you just want to look at the last 2 years, he's hit it both times this year and in all 3 games against the Lakers last year. So 5 for 5. dating back to last year. Insane play, insane price on Rudy Gobert to record a double-double. That's play number 3. Next up, we're actually sticking in the same game, and we're taking D'Angelo Russell over 8.5 assists, plus 122 odds at FanDuel. So this one is a play, not because it's a juicy matchup. A lot of times when I'm coming on here, I'm targeting a juicy matchup. That's not what we're doing in this one. Instead, we're targeting D'Angelo Russell because we're expecting increased playmaking with LeBron James out of the lineup. For those of you that don't remember, last year, the pivot to D'Lo assists in games in which Bron missed, absolute smash play. Just could have solved world hunger if more people were on this smash play. Absolute system play. Now, it's only been one game this year, but through one game, it has held true. D'Angelo Russell has played one game this year without LeBron James. He had 14 assists in that game. Last year, LeBron missed 11 games, and D'Angelo Russell had 9 or more assists in 9 of those 11 games. He averaged 10.8 assists per game in those 11 games. In both games he missed, he had exactly 8 assists. So we're telling, basically, 12 times in the last 2 years, LeBron has missed a game. D'Angelo Russell has hit 8 or more assists in all 12. Literally 12 for 12, 10 of 12 getting 9 or more. Now, if he ends tonight with 8 assists, that would be a bummer. That, we would get hooked. That happens. That 2 nights ago, we lost 2 plays because of the hook. That happens. But just to tell you how good that floor is, that's crazy. In the matchup against the Timberwolves, nothing to be scared of. They're not the best matchup. They're certainly not the Bulls, but they allow the 8th most assists per game to point guards. If you just go through their game logs, they've let plenty of starting point guards have double-digit assists against the Timberwolves. Like, we're talking multiple, like Tyus Jones had a good game against them. Fred VanVleet, Steph Curry went over his assist prop against them. And with LeBron out, D'Lo's just going to run a bunch of pick and roll with AD. He's going to get a ton of assists that way. Absolutely love that play as our 4th one. And now lastly, our 5th and final pick of the video, Suns versus Jazz game. Walker Kessler double-double, plus 140 odds at Bet365. Another double-double that I think is just an absolutely insane price. Kessler also averages a double-double just like Rudy Gobert in terms of his points and rebounds average per game. His rebound prop is priced at 10.5 with a very juiced over, or it's priced at 11.5. His point prop is priced either at a very juiced over 9.5 or at 10.5. So basically, the books are telling us they're expecting him to get at least 10 both points and rebounds. Now, I get the reason why we're getting it for plus money is because both need to happen, right? We're basically betting a 2-leg parlay that he's going to get at least 10 points and at least 10 rebounds. Plus 140 is an awesome price for that. And Walker Kessler has been playing very well recently, especially from a rebounding perspective. So it makes sense why the rebounds number is as high as it is. He's gotten at least 10 rebounds in 12 of 17 games. He's also done that in 7 of his last 10. And in his last 10 games, more importantly, he's averaging over 19 rebound chances per game. So if we just need him to get to 10 on 19 rebound chances, we'll take that. And if you look at his last 5 games, his rebound chances, he's averaging over 22 per game. Now, the Suns, I actually would have thought the opposite, but they're actually a good matchup for center rebound props. I would not have expected that because of how many jump shots they take. But if you just look at the numbers, props.cash has them allowing the 6th most rebounds per game to centers, 7th most according to Fantasy Pros, and actually the 2nd most over the last month if you were looking at #NBA. Points is a little scarier, not as much of a smash as the rebounds, but still nothing to be scared off of. He scored at least 10 points. He missed it in his last game, but prior to that, he had scored 10 plus points in 5 straight games. And the game he missed, he had 8 points, so just 1 bucket away. And it's 6 of 7 dating back to the last 8 games. So he's missed it in the last one, cash in 5 straight, missed, then cash. So 6 of 8 in his last 8 games is very good. The Suns, also a decent matchup for center point props, allow the 7th most points per game to centers, 4th most according to Fantasy Pros, 8th most over the last month according to #NBA. And if you're looking at just play types per Props Madness, where does Walker Kessler score? The Suns across the board are range from average to slightly below average. So they're not the best matchup in the world. Also not one to be scared of. And for plus 140 odds, in my head, we're getting him plus 140 to score 10 points, which again, he's done in 6 of his last 8 games. So I love this one. He had a double-double in 5 straight games before missing it last game. Just 1 bucket away. I think he gets us there tonight. And that's all we got. 5 bangers for you guys to lock in. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want to get all my plays sent to you for $5 a month, just get every bet I'm taking early. Check out the Dub Club. Again, $5 a month if you're interested. Check that out. Link is everywhere. Description, pin comment, whatever. I appreciate everybody for watching. Hope you all have a great Friday and have a good one.